I notice that doing something familiar or being in an environment that is familiar holds a certain sense of safety, because you know what's going to happen, you know who's around you, you know your ways, and that is good. But there's also a benefit to the unfamiliar. And I notice that with myself, and it's sometimes frustrating. And that is that leaning into something new, leaning into what I don't know, having ideas and trying things that I didn't do before, or that are just changing what is very refreshing, because there's a sense of aliveness there, a sense of adventure, a sense of possibility, and also a joy of doing something, because you don't, for example, work with the same materials all the time. Let me give an example of that. So, for example, when I have this tendency that I settle into structures, let's say our apartment, and there is a certain setup of how the room looks like. The couch is in this place, here's the table, there are the shelves and the books, and here's the kids' toys. And I just, in a way, become complacent or used to that. And certain things I might not like, I might not enjoy, but still I don't change them. And then one day my partner comes and she has the idea to rearrange things. And she puts the couch on the other side and makes it very practical and puts in a new carpet so the children can play on it, which serves different purposes: for them to have a soft underground, for our neighbor underneath us, who's sometimes plagued by the sounds of family life above her. She has a bit of a muffler on the flooring, so it's not as loud. And it just feels refreshing, it feels good. And what I notice with that is I often don't have these ideas. I don't even consider that I could change something. And I'm curious about that, because I'm wondering why is that I don't even think that I could mix things up, that I could try something new, that I could buy new tools. Let's say I like making bread, and for some time already I don't know where my dough knife is, this piece of hard plastic or soft plastic that you use to cut the dough and scrape things out of a bowl. And I just get complacent with that, instead of going and finding a nice one, high quality, that is a joy to make bread with, for example. Let's say the kitchen table that originally was meant as a place for me or for us to do work on in the kitchen, because we didn't have this extra space in our old apartment. But now the table is cluttered somehow, most of the time. So when I come in the kitchen, on a in a way subliminal level almost, I'm unhappy with that. It's not a joy to work there. I get a bit annoyed with the mess on the table. But in my default state, I seem to lack this proactiveness of cleaning it up, thinking, how would I like this place to look like, so that I enjoy working there, that it is a joy to sit down, record videos, write stuff, take time for reflecting on thoughts, or writing, just journaling or so, whatever comes to mind, just to work on that table. Often this thought does not cross my mind, and I'm a bit flabbergasted by that, actually, because there's not too much to it, but it's almost like I get complacent with circumstances being seemingly void of the agency to change a status quo. And that in itself, I think, is a matter of awareness. It has maybe deeper to do with a sense of I have power over circumstances. I can make choices and decisions and take action to change something. And secondary, having the idea of what is it that I want to change, how would I like it, and what are other options? What is out there that I don't know yet about that could make the situation better, that could make it more enjoyable? What kind of tools are there that I could use? And when it is about, in a way, investing into something, buying new equipment, for example, that could be really fun working with, be it bread making, be it video recording, be it, I don't know, working in the garden. Often what is, I think, in my mind, what I notice is this sense, oh, I don't have the money for that, I don't want to spend the money on that. And because I seemingly don't have resources, which is bullshit actually, because I use money for other things too, why not for that? I limit myself from the option, I distance myself from the option that I can explore something that would actually bring me joy and aliveness. So somehow the question is also, how can I know what I don't know? How can I become aware of possibilities that for sure exist out there for the thing that I like doing, that at this moment I'm not aware of? And I think the only way that I can think about this right now is to expose myself to what other people are doing. Because I notice already, I am someone who is creative very much in resonance with others. It's more like a collaborative creativity. I'm not so good at coming up with great ideas or new ways of doing things by just sitting down in isolation. I need the contact to people, and when I don't have that contact, and its contact to people is not only in real time, real person contact in a conversation, like you would come in the door now and talk to me sitting in this room, but it is also being exposed to what other people are doing, just watching them, going on a market and having the idea, going into a shop, seeing what's available, what is possible. And this is just more like an inspiration. What can I take from what other people are doing and what kind of solutions they've found, so that I can enrich my own process, my own things that I'm doing. So this is a very fascinating thing for me that I meet a lot in my life, that I'm kind of frustrated with the situation, but I don't put more thought or energy into what can I do to change it and how would I like to be? How would I like it to be? Or how would I like to be myself? I mean, it's not only circumstances and things, etc. in my environment. It is also in the same way relating to myself. So now saying relating, I think it has a lot to do with what's the kind of relationship that I have with myself, and what is the relationship that I have to the world around me, and how much isolated do I feel in myself. And what it requires to change that is, in a way, I mean, the first thing is to cultivate some sense of agency, that I can have an effect on my life, I can have an effect on how I change and how I am who I am, and I can have an effect on my environment and how it looks like and how I design it, how I craft it, how I change it. And from this sense of agency, it is then, how can I come up with these ideas? And at the center of that is also the cultivation of curiosity and of joy, because I think somehow I noticed the fundamental element that is required also to experience joy and aliveness in my life has a lot to do with feeling powerful in a way. And powerful meaning having agency, having responsibility, making decisions, and I am in touch, I am in connection, I'm not isolated, I'm not just a bystander and an observer of what's going on in my life, but I am actually the main character in my life. And from that point of view, it is my choices that enable me to change something and to feel alive because I can. Yeah. And then it's, as I said, it has to do with how does my creativity work? Where do ideas come from inside of me? How does my nervous system work with this in relation to the world? And then using what I know about me and finding ways to craft systems that help me feel inspired and have ideas, because it's not necessarily a sign of intelligence to think I have to come up with everything myself, when actually I need to be in touch with others and in relationship and in contact, in connection. So knowing that, I can feel inspired by exposing myself to the world and get in touch with the world, which, on an ending note now, has a lot to do with a very fundamental theme in my life, that I feel I don't really belong here. I don't really have a place here. I feel like I am an observer and I'm not really part of it all. I'm not allowed to play in the game of life. And hence this sense of separation and not having ideas and thinking I have to come up with it everything by myself, because I need to do everything. I need to do life by myself. I guess that is an outgrowth of this fundamental perspective that I took from wherever that was born, very early, I guess. But to see that enables me with the possibility to change that and to find new ways of enjoying life. Yeah, that is something I found interesting today, and felt good to explore that.